What's up, Quack fans? IronDrone.com. Today I'm going to be flying my V303 Seeker. I have the run cam attached to the bottom with the Wakira G2D gimbal, the mount on there. So, arm the motors, take off. I'm not quite sure how much battery I have on this quadcopter at the moment. So we'll just check it out, make sure there's no drift. Looks like we got a little bit of a forward drift. Wasn't completely level whenever I calibrated the compass. I'm on the side of a hill, so that could potentially be why it's drifting forward. So we'll go ahead and fly it around here. And I'm going to be keeping a close eye on my light, my tail light, because like I said, I'm not sure what the battery life is. I believe I charged this battery, but it was sitting kind of off in the bag, which I typically don't place it there if it has been charged. So we'll just keep it close, do a nice slow flight. But what I have on there is I have a modified gimbal mount. I took the Wakira G2D gimbal and removed the gimbal, kept the mounting bracket, anti-vibration balls, and then I have a run cam GoPro or strap to it with Velcro, and then a Velcro strap. So I'm getting some heavy drift to the right as well as forward. So go ahead and try to correct that with the trims. See if that helps out. So far so good as far as the battery goes. So if we do start getting a red blinking light, that'll let us know that we need to bring this in for a landing, because our battery is going to die. Again, it makes a real big difference on how you calibrate this compass and making sure that it's on flat level ground, because if you don't, you'll get a drift left or right. Also too, if you're getting a drift and you did calibrate it on a nice solid level piece of ground or concrete, the issue might be with your props. You might have a nick or a bend. The slightest little bend on these things will throw this thing off. So the wind's not too bad today. It's blowing in from the left hand side, similar to the area where we're getting the drift, but it's not very strong. So typically this is very good about holding its position with the wind and drift. So I don't want to chalk the drift up to that, but you can see, I mean, I don't even have my hand on the joystick and it's moving forward on its own. So not the best sign, but something we can deal with. It's not too bad. So like I said, we'll just keep it close, not get too high in case our battery is lower than expected. We don't have to bring this thing in for a fast landing. It's going to take a few minutes to find a good spot to even land, just because everything's slanted on a downward slope, which would hint to why it is drifting forward like that, because that's the side of the hill that I calibrated it on. But so far I've been very pleased with the run cam and lack of jello it produces, so it's definitely been a big plus. Very limited jello, next to none, using this configuration. So So we'll take it up a little bit. So we might actually have a full charge with the battery. You can see it just taking off to that one side as soon as I let off the stick. So that drift could cause some possible issues with the video onboard camera. This thing will try to overcorrect a little too much compared to most quadcopters, and when it does that, it starts creating that vibration and oscillation with the props and the motors, and then in turn gives you a nice jello feed. But the run cam's been the best with this configuration, even with that Wakira gimbal on there and SJ4000 or GoPro. Still getting jello. So bring it in, take a good look at it. So you can see right there the run cam's on the bottom, strapped on there with the Wakira mounting bracket. And like I said, we got a little bit of a drift, so we'll see if we can correct that. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to with trimming it out, so I'll just trim it out to 0, fight it with the sticks. And I'll end up forgetting about it next time I go to fly, and it'll start flying all funky on me and I won't know why. So but the V303, excellent range if you can get a good one. A lot of people have binding issues right out of the factory, getting it right out of the box. Can't get their transmitter to bind. That seems like one of the biggest issues that most people experience with this quadcopter. They get a green-red light on the back, can never arm the motors, can never find the satellites. You know, especially if you're a beginner, you know, this one takes a little bit of tinkering with. It took me, you know, a month and replacing out the receiver and transmitter in order to get it to fly correctly. So for a beginner, it might be a frustrating experience if you don't get a good one right out of the box. So if you do, count yourself as being lucky. They're definitely well worth the money if you get a good one. So we're probably going on 4 to 5 minutes of flight time, handling great, other than our drift, but that's my fault. So bring it in nice and close. Take a look at it. So right there you can see it. I'll let off the stick. It goes into a downward pitch right there, which is what's causing the issue. So we have a helicopter getting ready to land, so we'll go ahead and land the quadcopter here. Like I mentioned, we just had a rogue helicopter coming our flight path, so we'll go ahead and land the quadcopter. Got a nice little flight out of it. So it's going to be a little bit tricky because this is on a slant, so hold down on the throttle to disarm the motors, flip off the switch, gives us the red light on the back, then we can go ahead and unplug our battery. So I'll check over the props really quick just to make sure I have no damage on the front right, on the front left. So I think it was more or less an issue with calibrating the compass in a downward angle. So right here's the run cam. Here's the Wakira attachment. I have the zip tie right here to hold this on here in case the vibration balls come off of there, so then that way I don't lose the camera. But handling great, excellent footage. The angle in which it shoots is more in the slant, so you just barely get the tips of these motors in your picture, but those can be easily cropped out in post editing. So this is the V303 Seeker Run Cam HD with the Wakira G2D gimbal mount.